Everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Sunday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I've got a video for you from the BBC News, which, as you can see from the headline, Swansea Police Jack Williams jailed for punching autistic man. This was uploaded on the 21st of September. It's only just been updated recently, and I want to talk about it from my own autistic perspective and show you the article. This is the victim here, the autistic man called Tariq Evans, who was punched 7 times in the back of a police van. Look at that. Look at the damage to his head. That's outrageous. That's vile. The article was written by Stephen Fairclough and Paul Piggott, I think it's pronounced. But let's keep scanning down and get to the actual information. A policeman who punched an autistic man in the head 7 times during an arrest has been jailed for 12 weeks. What? That's nothing. 12 weeks. He'll get out on half of that on good behaviour if they're allowing him out early. That's ridiculous. So he'll probably serve about 6 weeks, maybe if that. Video evidence of the attack by PC Jack Williams, 27 years old, in the back of a police van in Swansea in October 2022 was seen by Newport Magistrates Court. Tariq Evans, now 23, lost his job, has memory loss, nightmares, headaches, is unwilling to leave his home, and was never charged, the court heard. Williams was found guilty of assault by beating at a trial in August. The district judge, Sophie Thomas, has said, "You took your opportunity to take your rage out on Mr. Evans. Your behaviour was quite frankly shocking." Footage of the assault shown to the court came from another officer's body camera. Mr. Evans, who has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and autism, was being chased by several South Wales police officers on suspicion of criminal damage. He was brought to the ground on Woodville Street in the Morriston area of the city, arrested, and then put into the back of the police van. So this is the scumbag police officer on this picture here. Look at him. He just looks scummy. What an idiot. And meant to be a police officer who's meant to be serving and protecting people, yet he attacks someone with ADHD and autism. Shame on you, buddy. Vile. Absolute vile. Disgusting behaviour. He was arrested before being thrown into the back of the police van in a way the judge described as forcible and unnecessary, with Mr. Evans being completely restrained with leg ties, handcuffs, and a spit hood. Are you frigging kidding me? Are you frigging kidding me right now? You actually put leg ties on him. What for? Was there any evidence that he was violent? No. Was the autistic man kicking out and spitting at you? No. So therefore, this was completely unnecessary. The court was then told he could be heard shouting and screaming in pain. That's outrageous. That's disgusting. That's just horrid in any shape or form. That's disgusting. Absolute disgusting. After calling Mr. Evans abusive names, Williams climbed into the rear of the van and shouted, "Stop biting me," before punching Mr. Evans repeatedly in the head. If he was biting you, that's because he was stressed out and you were forcibly restraining him against his will. No wonder why he retaliated, because you were hurting him. And knowing full well he's a vulnerable person, you are a disgusting individual. 7 blows to the head were caught in the police footage, but there was no evidence of any attempt to bite Williams. The judge said Mr. Evans was in the most vulnerable position. He did not move, he did not deflect any punches, she added. He was in a small metal cage, unable to move or stop the blows. She described the assault as persistent and abuse of power by someone who's in a position of trust and had shown no remorse. That is Mr. Tariq's mother, the victim who got assaulted by the cop. That is his mother. And she says that justice has been served by jailing the police officer. Well, part justice, yes, I'd say. I wouldn't say full justice, but yeah. Speaking outside the court after the sentencing, Mr. Evans' mother, Sarah Lee Evans, 52, said justice has been served. The family learned of what was happening through seeing a video on Facebook. What? What? It was put on Facebook. That's outrageous. That's disgusting. to upload it to Facebook. That is pure misconduct and negligence. That is ridiculous. Miss Evans said, as soon as we heard his voice, I knew immediately that that was my son. There were around 6 or 7 coppers on top of him, but I could hear his voice. He was basically shouting out and calling for me and saying he hadn't done anything wrong. Again, this is the photo of the victim, Mr. Evans, Tariq Evans. He has now lost his job and has struggled with his mental health since the attack. Well, yeah, I don't blame him because he's got high anxiety, he's ADHD, he's autistic. Of course, he's going to have mental health issues from being attacked by a police officer. He doesn't expect a police officer to attack him and make him lose his job. The police officer should be protecting him and helping him and trying to understand him, not punching him 7 times in the back of the head and almost knocking him out. That's disgraceful. When she went to meet him at the police station, he was so disfigured, 2 black eyes, red eyes, and his face was all cut up. That's disgraceful. That is absolute disgraceful. And the police officer should know better. That's absolutely makes my stomach boil. That's absolute disgusting. Absolute disgusting. She then said she got a lump in her throat watching the video of it. So I'm not surprised. If you are watching someone that you know is being unduly attacked, unduly restrained by someone that they should be able to trust and talk to, of course it's going to cause a lump in the throat. That was caused me to feel extremely heart-rendered, anxious, angry, because it's someone who is vulnerable. There's absolute no need for it. The police also did not need to attack this guy. I think this is just gross misconduct, negligence, abuse of a vulnerable person with multiple problems, and it should have never have happened. I don't understand why it was allowed to happen, and I think this is just absolute disgraceful. 7 times, she said, that's taking the law into your own hands. I totally agree. 7 times, 1 time is bad enough, but 7? Repeatedly smacking someone in the head who you know is vulnerable and is now got mental health issues. Disgusting, absolute vile. The court heard that it was not possible to say which injuries had been caused by Williams or whether or not other injuries were caused by the remainder of the arrest police process. So, it's disgusting. But yeah, that's the end of the article as far as I'm aware. Yeah. Okay. So basically that was the article with the update about the police officer being arrested, but to only be arrested for 12 weeks is a joke. It's a joke of the criminal justice system. It's a joke on behalf of the victim here, Mr. Tariq Evans, who obviously ended up with a black eye, some severe cuts and bruising to the head, and was unduly restrained with no evidence showing that he needed to be restrained. And obviously, I am going to condone the biting of a police officer. You don't need to bite somebody, but again, he did bite him because he was unduly restrained and was obviously anxious and frightened. I'm not condoning it. It's not right. It's not okay. But he was nervous, and obviously being restrained by a cop and being restrained by 6 of them, not just one of them now, which is just makes my heart sad and makes me feel really angry on behalf of this autistic guy. I hope to God that Swansea police do have better police training on autism. They get someone like Mr. Evans or someone who is able to go in and provide training on autism and neurodiversity, ADHD, because this obviously might happen again, and we don't want another person with autism or ADHD to be attacked or unduly restrained or unduly talked to, because this shows that it was a failure within the police system and a failure to communicate with him, taking his needs into account. He obviously didn't assess him properly, and to have that bad force on top of him, there was no need to physically get him in handcuffs. He wasn't being unduly unlenient or unruly. He wasn't refusing arrest, and clearly whatever you did was unnecessary. And I hope to God that fellow police never ever do this again to another autistic or ADHD or disabled person or person with mental health issues. This clearly shows that police are still unaware of how to communicate with people with disabilities, and this shows that still training needs to be done and undertaken, and clearly the police are at fault in this instance. And yeah, let me know what you feel in the comments down below, guys. I will link this article down below in the video description, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.